Hello weebs, I'm Shriz, and it's near Valentine's Day whenever this video is being posted. So firstly...
Will you be my Valentine?
Sorry, I might have come on a little too strong right there. My bad. Didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. So on this day of love and people deleting their social media, you may be more tempted than ever to click on the link with hot women in your area while watching anime.
What are you doing? She's waiting for you. Click it. Click the link.
Actually, no, don't do that, okay? Please. Save yourself a couple viruses, please. And to the happy couples watching, although there are haters, and I am one of them, you still do something good, and that's giving us hope. Alright, that's all the praise you're getting, so fuck off. But here I am, and on this occasion, I'm gonna give you something better. 10 times better than any chocolate or balloons that can be bought at a convenience store. Something truly straight from the heart that every weeb can and will agree with. Anime recommendations. Specifically, I'll be giving you different romance animes of different varieties, with a little summary to let you know what the story's about. These can be used to help you fill the black void inside of your heart, or just a simple reminder that love's actually really complicated, and it looks a lot better from a distance, because that's usually how it goes. Instagram is a lie, remember that. If you guys have watched any of these already, or all of them because you're a little freaking tryhard, similar to me, then let me know what you think about them down below. And of course, recommend one of your favorites to your fellow degenerates. Do some community work in the comments is what I'm saying. Other than that, let's just hop into it. Now what can we all agree helps the pain? Every time. The funny. And for those of you who don't know, the funny is defined as something that makes you laugh. You're welcome. Now I picked this category first so we can go ahead and get out the way because it's most likely the one that you'll be mostly familiar with. But nonetheless, they are fire, and even if one single person in this world hasn't seen them, then we need to change that. Can I get an amen? That's right, I'm a rom-com activist. So number one for the funny, Kaguya-sama Love is War. This is one of the very few that has a lot more calm than it does rom, but it does lead up to some moments that make your heart skip a beat, or two. And if it skips anymore, please see a doctor. This anime is mainly about two students attending an academy for the elite's children. Kaguya Shinomiya is the female main character, and is also the vice president of the school, while the other protagonist Miyuki Shirogane, the president of that school as well. The two use their genius intellects in a Death Note type style of battle, a battle for love, where the goal is to make the other person confess their love for each other first, while also dealing with the daily life of, school things and life things and other characters. And by the way, other characters is a pretty bad description, because they really also do make the show what it is. Phenomenal. They're great. Hit the Chica dance. If you're interested in a more in-depth review of this specific anime, this is actually one that I've already done a full review of. And after this video, if you want to watch that, feel free. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can check that out. I know you'll enjoy that too. Please don't leave me. I got some good recommendations, I swear. Next up, this anime is for those of you who've always wondered, what would it be like if the lovers of the story didn't just get together for like the last 3 episodes? And it's also a very wholesome experience from the start. And this anime only has 1 season for now, but it's more than worth it if you want to go to sleep with a big old goofy smile on your face, and some type of inner feeling that all is right in the world, which is very rare in today's time. This anime is called Fly Me to the Moon. In this anime, there's actually a guy named NASA. He's the main character, which is, funny because it's the title. So this is one of those animes that are like one of those love at first sight kind of things, except they take it to a whole nother level. When NASA and the waifu of the story, Tsukasa, decide to get married in the very first flippin' episode. Yeah. And it isn't like, oh, first episode, they just known each other before the story started. No, they met each other in the first episode too. And there's a lot of interesting, cute little moments that come with the commitment of a marriage, but the newness of just dating someone and having to get to know the person that you just married, I feel like this is kind of similar to what people with arranged marriages have to go through now I'm thinking about it. Maybe. Might be a glimpse into that. A good example of this is at one point in the story, NASA asked if they could hold hands, even though they're literally married. Things like this gave me a lot of secondhand embarrassment while watching the show, and it really does hurt. But it is unique, and it is cute, and you should check it out. Well, now one thing I will say is the story does get a lot deeper, okay, and it kind of hints at it in that first season. To really get to know that, you're going to have to read past that or just wait a long time for the next season to come out, but you'll see what I mean just by watching the first season. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. Okay, now it's the time a lot of you have been waiting for. Time to throw a few bones to you masochist dogs. People out there who live for nothing but the feeling of sadness and pain, because you're an absolute freak. And that's not me hating, by the way, it's just an observation that you have to live with. Plastic Memories. This is one that I watched a long time ago, and the fact that I even remember is kind of impressive. And sometimes I find myself wanting to watch this one again, actually. This anime is only 12 or 13 episodes, but its entire goal is to make you rethink your entire life and everything as you know it. The anime is based in a bit of a future kind of world where humans and androids coexist. The humans built the androids to help other humans out, but the amazing part is these androids have emotions and feelings and memories, as the title might suggest, plastic memories. And it also lets you know very early that these androids have a shelf life as well within the first episode. Now, the two main characters of the story are Tsukasa, which this time is the dude, unlike the last anime I was talking about, and the android Isla, who both work for a company to, just help people out. And they go in like pairs of two. One's a human, one's an android. Guy, girl. Yeah, I think you see where I'm going with this, well, the things I've said till now. Yeah. I won't spoil the things that they go through together specifically because I really do want you to watch this, and it isn't very long where I can just throw out examples without spoiling part of the show, like a quarter of it. But I will say Isla is an imperfect android in certain areas that most of them are not, and she has some very unique qualities that other ones don't have as well. Although she was artificially made, which is kind of a weird thing, but it's damn good, trust me, okay? All I'm saying is based on literally the first episode and what I said, little summary right there, you probably understand where this is going, but all I'm gonna say is this is a simple masterpiece I know everyone will love, with a slight side effect of you hating me forever, but I'm okay with that. It is what it is. And oh god, here's another for your masochist out there. This one's called Your Lie in April. It's about a musician that... you know what? Never mind. Just watch the show, please. I'm getting a bad feeling that if I revisit that show in my mind, I might start crying right now. And this video may never actually get uploaded. Yeah. And this isn't even an exaggeration. You can call me a pussy if you want. But if anything, this anime truly deserves a whole video on its own, seriously. It's so happy and emotional and so sad. I honestly, in a little summary, I couldn't do it justice, but I will say you definitely didn't watch this one. This is going to be the only one that I kind of just cut short and say, listen, you just need to go watch this if you haven't. And the people who've seen it probably know exactly why. It's so good that I've only watched it once and I actually refuse to watch it again, because it will never be the same. And that's just not one of those ones that you want this like dry feeling watching again, or like this. You get what I'm trying to say. Let's move on. Like I said, I'll do summaries for the rest of them, but this one we're gonna leave that there. Just watch it, write it down, take a picture, read it. I don't know. I haven't been the same since. You'll see. Okay, so I realized I do have more animes, but the categories thing is starting not to make any sense. Because I'm realizing a lot of these great stories that I'm trying to recommend you have like different aspects of almost anything. And they can encompass both romance, sad, pain, happy. So I think I'm just gonna do away with that for now, but listen up. Without further ado, we have Golden Time. This one's a bit of a rom-com mixed with like a thriller and pain, and all the other great things you can come up with, honestly. And definitely one that I hold dear to my heart, and I was able to rewatch it several times. Golden Time is a romance anime centered around a man named Tada Bundy, or is it Bunley? Something like that. This guy is attending college after he lost his memories, after falling off of a bridge. True. And he fell off of this bridge right after his high school graduation, actually. Kind of putting him in a state of amnesia where it's a new him in the same body. That kind of thing. Yeah, that's gotta be a weird experience. And while he's attending that school, he meets a girl, in the weirdest way possible. When they met, she was actually trying to stalk her ex, so, life situations. But they start to spend a little more time together and a little more, and I'm sure you can fill in the gap there. But the question is, what happens if something starts to remind him of his past, or his old self? What if his old self starts to come back? Will his old memories and old personality come in? Will his new one stay, or will it disappear? That's for you to find out. I'm not here to spoil everything for you. Maybe someday, not today. Golden Time is an absolute W of an anime though, with a lot of twists and turns and stuff like that, in a very simple slice of lifey setting, but it's fantastic. Like I said, it's got a little bit of that thrillerness to it. Take a look, it's awesome. Okay, so this is a relatively new anime, but for a lot of people who watch it, it quickly becomes one of their favorite. Horimiya. This is a very, very slice of lifey anime to the extreme, okay? Like if a video game had a realism slider, you just turn that bitch up to like 100%. Now, that being the case, since it's very realistic and everything, things sometimes slowly progress, and it would be kind of hard for me to give you a whole bunch of examples without spoiling the whole thing once again, but I'll do my best. This show has a lot of good representations of how people really act sometimes, and I haven't really seen it portrayed like this in an anime so well. Like how people put on different faces for different audiences depending on who they're around and things like that. Like having a completely different style when at school with peers versus you're out on your own dressing how you want to on your average day out. Or how the girl who's sweet and perfect can actually have her own weird shit too, where she likes being yelled at and shit, which is kind of a weird thing to like. It just overall does a great job of showing what people are like in passing, or I guess you could say on a surface level, versus becoming friends and you know a little bit more about them and what they're really like, or even more than that, a relationship. You know, showing how different the face that's put forward by people versus the contrast to who they really are as a person. Definitely big on the whole old idea of don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. Definitely once again more on the wholesome side, but it's not like a forced thing like the one that I brought up earlier, like Fly Me to the Moon or something like that. It's very unforced. It like I said, it seems more real, but in a way, because they make it seem so realistic, it makes it more wholesome, that kind of thing. The story's great. I think you'd all like it. Watch it. Okay, so I have one more for you. Otherwise, we might be here all day. I saved it for last because this is another personal favorite of mine. This one is called Snafu. Now, Snafu is a personal favorite of mine for a few reasons, actually. Its rewatchability is fantastic for me personally, of course, and just how long it is. It's got like 3 or 4 seasons, I think it was 3, with like quite a few OVAs as well. Fire. Now, I will say it does have one of the most generic premises of all rom-coms and romances as a whole, to be honest with you. You know the old trope, a loser being pushed into interacting with people and taking on responsibilities that they never wanted. But the anime does it so well that it's like the king of this very common trope. I mean, it has the funny, the pain, the AIDS, I guess, an anime trap that even the protagonist can get behind, and an eventual love triangle that actually gets solved. I just had a flashback to like a few different animes where there was like a love triangle and homie just didn't choose any of them. Anyways, this one has one, and you may or may not like the ending. We'll see. Either way, it's good. In this story, the characters actually have personalities that affect the story, and you might be thinking, duh, that's how like personalities and stories work. They always affect the story. And you would be right about that, but this anime in the long run is a very introspective one that makes all of them grow in their own different ways, out of the 3 in the trio mainly. And that ends up playing a big role in how they treat each other and how they interact with other people in their environment. And it starts off very just generic and surface level and rom-com-y and obvious tropes and everything, but as the seasons go on, it gets deeper and deeper, which is actually something great. Sometimes you have a show that's really good the first season, but then like you should have figured out a way to end it earlier because now you're just pushing it too far. This is one of those that's just a fun watch to begin with, but as it goes, it gets more enticing, more better. That's right, I was gonna say that. My English teacher is rolling in the grave right now. But even as it gets deeper, there's always a little sprinkle or just a big old slap of comedy, so that's always good. And of course, I'll put the names of all these in the description. And if you want to know more about any of these, just leave it in the comments below. And I'm just going to say one more word before like 90% of the community gets mad at me. Toradora, another great rom-com type anime. I haven't ran into a single person who hasn't watched it, who hasn't liked it. People get mad if you don't bring those like really big ones up. But that's the only one I'm doing. Otherwise, this is going to be like an ending credits with like just way more rom-coms. So for those romantics of you out there that have a new anime to watch, you're welcome. And for those of you who did see all of them, I'm glad we're in the same boat. And it's sinking, just letting you know. And on top of that, it's time for you to recommend me something. How about that? Help me out. And I may just review that. Who knows? Alright weebs, I hope you enjoyed this video. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got a hot date with my body pillow to attend to, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.